We engaged with all our shareholders, including Saba, last summer, and in response, we published a plan to return cash to our shareholders for those who wanted it. And for those who wanted to remain in the strategy, we were going to roll them over, offer them to a rollover into a sister fund called Positive Change, which is far bigger and much more liquid to address the liquidity issues. There's no question our fund really was struggling with its size and the poor liquidity, largely also aggravated by the fact that Saba was building up such a large stake. So when I consulted with Saba last summer, they were very clear they would like to see a cashback in the first quarter 25, and that is the plan that we published. Saba's behind the curve here. We published a plan and we announced it and published the detail in December, which was before they enhanced their requisition meetings. So really, the purpose of me coming on to speak with you guys today is to say we just need people to come out and vote at these meetings, because I'm very confident that the 70% of shareholders who are not Saba will want to support this plan and the cash that we want to return to our shareholders as soon as possible. Ultimately, the plan was to do it next month, to start the process.
Let me tackle one of the other issues that's been raised by Saba, which is that the board doesn't have enough skin in the game. Saba believes that they are more aligned with shareholders because of the stake that they've built up, and that they want the same outcome. They want better returns from here. What do you say to that? Because it almost paints the board as the outsider here, not the insider.
Yeah, I mean, the purpose of the board is to remain independent and to look after all stakeholders, including our shareholders. So we encourage the board members to take stakes, to take personal stakes in these companies, and also the managers do as well. And in our case, there's significant shareholding on a register with individuals within our manager, Bailey Gifford. So we actually have quite a lot of skin in the game. It's not necessarily in the public domain for Saba to be able to analyse that, but the truth is we do have a lot of skin in the game. But the issue that's really important to understand is investment trust companies in this market are run by independent directors. We are independent of the managers, and we do what's best for our shareholders. We consult with our shareholders, and response, in my case, we have responded by putting this plan in place and announced it, all the detail last December. The plan is to return cash to our shareholders in recognition of the challenging environment that we've been operating in for the last few years. So Saba are completely behind the curve here.
Karen, really lovely to get your view on this one, and I will reiterate your first message. It's a message that we always want to hear, is get out and vote. That was the key point that you wanted to make, and I'll reiterate it from my point of view. Absolutely important. People can't moan about it if they don't vote on it. But Karen...
40% of my shareholders are retail investors, and they traditionally do not vote.
No.
So they really need to wake up. If they do not vote, a small minority shareholder is going to take control of the company.
Yeah.
And
but we all know retail investors like their tea and coffee if they turn up to AGM, so we need them to actually vote as well as turn up for their tea and coffee. But Karen, I think as importantly, if I may, you have alluded to, and Karen has as well in her read-in as well, there are deep problems in the London market, in the UK market. I'd like you to be quite forensic. You're talking about returning capital because of the size of the portfolio, because of the lack of liquidity. Does this underline that there are massive problems in the UK investment scenario and in the UK investment trust market?
Well, in my case, it highlights the fact that if you don't have patient investors, the investment trust structure is designed for patient capital. And it's designed to have strategies which people are committed to over a longer period. It's not really great for people who wanted to jump in and jump out. So, before we got to the stage where we offer this cash back, we introduced a continuation vote, which was very well received. And Saba didn't vote on it, but and actually part of our problem is only 20% of our shareholders normally vote, which is why I've come on the programme today to plead with people, please, will you come out and vote? We have to take control of the situation here. But to answer your question, there are I think the main issue is that the regulations and the structure that exists in this market is not designed for behaviour like we're seeing from Saba, which allows a small shareholder, a minority shareholder, to take control of these companies and do what they will with them, which is what Saba wants to do. And I agree, there is a problem.